Good afternoon, Susan Hutt. I want to talk to you about something that's really bad that's going on in this county right now that I think every one of you know about. It's also unfortunate that our local paper works to print stories and shows only what our government wants them to know about. And I know that the Sun is probably hiding this. I have come to find out from two former employees of the utility department that Charlotte County and one of their contractors have dumped concrete asbestos pipes in Lincoln Park and tried to bury it. It was concrete pipe that was dug up in the sewer construction in the West Tarpon Edgewater area. A contractor dumped it, and then people working for the utility department started dumping it in Lincoln Park. I don't know how deep it's buried. I don't know where on the lot it's buried. There are people who work in this county who know about it. These people reported it to me because it's a health hazard. And now we have had, I don't know when it got dumped or how long it's been there, but now we have citizens who have gone and gotten loads of dirt to take back to their yards, where their children are, where they work and enjoy their yards, and their pets are out there. We're going to have some asbestosis disease problems going on in the county. I don't know how many of you really know about it. Some of you are looking like you're not very happy about it. I know the parks people know about it, and I did not learn that from my husband either. I'm tired of being a target for this county and code enforcement, and because of my speaking at this podium. But that is how I'm feeling. I feel my husband begged me not to say anything about this, to let it come out some other way. I've waited long enough for this to come out. I want to know what this county's going to do about it. Thank you.
Yes, Commissioners, I'd like to talk to you about quasi-judicial. I've been to so many of the advisory group meetings, MSBU meetings, the advisory group for the MSBUs, the advisory groups for the Sunseeker, for Charlotte Harbor, for Murdoch Village, etc. And at each one of them, the people who have been volunteers in that organization for a long time were suddenly told that they have no input anymore. Everything is quasi-judicial. Well, that word was brought up at least 10 times in each of these meetings. Yet the document is from 2011, and nothing was said since 2011 up until 2018. Now, all of a sudden, you want the people to know they can't recommend anything. They can't know anything about what's going on. And I think that's what the whole idea of this is, that they should not know what is going on in Charlotte County. And I use that word transparency. Believe me, there is nothing transparent about what is going on here in Charlotte County. I've brought this up a number of times. I've been approached by someone who keeps saying, well, tell me, when weren't we transparent? Well, nothing's very transparent in what's going on in Charlotte County. And I am really fed up with this because I sat there at those meetings, those advisory meetings, and the people were not told this. They were told, and this is in the past 2-3 months, the people were told that they were asked to approve things, sidewalks and such, and they did. They voted on it. They approved it. Then all of a sudden, turn to the last page, they were told. Now, I want you to understand, and there was an attorney there, someone from our attorney's office, and all of this is being billed to your MSBUs, etc. And they were told, you have no right to know anything. You can only recommend, and there are only certain things you can recommend on, because in the future zoning might come in and want something, the people might want something else, and therefore that's really quasi-judicial. You can't know what's going on. You cannot speak on it because quasi-judicial, it could affect the outcome of what we are working on in zoning and planning, and the person could bring charges against us for something. This is what I heard at every single one of them. And it was always the last page. One of the meetings I walked in and I said to the people, if I were you, I'd look at the last page first, because it was a joke, the whole thing. And this is the way you've treated the people who have been volunteers for such a long time. They've been working on these projects. They ask for help on these projects, and they're giving you their recommendations, etc. And they know they were only making recommendations. They weren't making rules or approving anything. but they're recommendations, and they were representing the people. And that's why I'm here. That's why I come to so many meetings, to try to represent the people. You're not talking to them. You're not telling them what's going on. And I'm a little tired of hearing quasi-judicial just to keep the people out of everything that's going on in the county. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Just thought I'd leave you with a few thoughts before you go on vacation. Joe's not here. Just a little more on the church tax. You've been talking about finding money from the taxpayers to replace cutting one of the taxes you've been unconstitutionally collecting. This isn't about replacements of the money you think legitimately belongs to you. This is not even about cutting spending on some of the other pet projects. It doesn't have anything to do with that. This is about respecting the laws of the land. You expended a lot of effort attempting to divert the proper discussion, which is the law. You can't tax churches according to the Constitution. The true dilemma, as you called it, is that you are violating the law. You're doing harm to the people. You need to stop violating the rights of the people. It makes absolutely no difference what you think or feel is a better use of our money, especially when the collection is prohibited by the Constitution. This is irrelevant. One good thing that I heard was stop the unlawful taxing and cut the unlawful money. Some of it might call it filthy lucre, directly out of the budget for which it is earmarked. I actually think I heard that from you, Chairman. That's the only way to do the right thing. It's going to the wrong place. It's coming from the wrong place. Cut it. You're just going to have to find the money somewhere else, or cut some other spending. Cut another pet project. If the church tax was challenged in court that was overseen by an honest judge, you'd lose. I think you would lose, just like many of the other violations you might be committing. And that being said, here's a question I have for you, commissioners. Do you believe that your actions are lawful or lawless? Think about that while you're on vacation. On another subject, subsidies come from the people. All taxes come from the people. A subsidy is just another tax. The government doesn't subsidize anything. The government should simply be collecting enough money to protect our lives, our liberty, and our pursuit of happiness, not massive special interest projects taking from one and giving to another. You're not investors. You are representatives in a governing body that is in place to protect our rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of our own happiness through our own decisions with our own money, as long as we do harm to no one else. We, the people, make the decisions on how we invest the fruits of our labor, not you. And listening to the comments on the Family Services Center, the people cannot afford for the government to spend on not limiting government in the future. No one knows the future, and the government tends to be much worse than those at those predictions than those in the private sector who have much more motivation to live within a budget. Past commissioners have proven over and over that they are not smarter than God and they cannot predict the future. If we keep spending more and more specifically on not limiting government, we'll either go bankrupt or run everybody out of town but the rich. Government's been formed in order to protect the people from those who would steal their money, property, or rights, not to do just the opposite. Thank you.
Thank you. Before you add my time, the sound is very weak back here. We've requested several times, and it's hard to hear back here. So
hopefully somebody in the back room can help us out. We don't control it.
We mentioned it earlier, and nothing's been done about it. Okay. Typical. Okay. My name is Michael Zarzano. I'm here representing the Charlotte County Congress. We can be reached, for those in the audience, at the Charlotte County Congress at gmail.com, Charlotte County Congress at gmail.com. If you have any information in the listening audience to this TV government production of any corruption, illegality regarding government operators, please contact us at Charlotte County Congress at gmail.com. I'm here today to tell you that government in 1984 passed a law providing for public access television called PEG, P-E-G, Public Educational and Government TV. We the people are supposed to have our own TV channel in county government, paid for with, subsidized by cable television bills, and we don't have it in this county. We've got the government channel for the government, and we've got the educational channel for the academia of the area, but we don't have the P for the PEG, P-E-G. And I would request from you commissioners that let's consider this and get on the ball with creating a public access channel so that the people can legitimately be heard, since we're only allowed 3 minutes to come here and speak to you. 3 minutes. That's all we're allowed, people. These are our servants, and we, the master, are only given 3 minutes of time. I'm here today because government has gone wild. We're trying to stop you from taxing churches. That's what you've been doing for quite some time in Charlotte County. Be proud of yourself. You're one of the few counties in this entire country of 3,141 counties. You in Charlotte County have decided to tax churches. Well, I hope with the couple of gentlemen that are opposing this, we're going to stop it on the commissioner seats here. Red tide is a very serious issue. And the lady that just spoke before me, Cindy, was absolutely right. Red tide is going to radically affect this region unless we get it under control. And there are answers. There is a problem that is causing it. There is a culprit called Big Sugar that for many decades has been allowed to go footloose and fancy-free in South Florida, unregulated virtually, and we are paying the consequences now. 3 dead dolphins, 11 sea turtles washed up on the beach in Inglewood. This is going, you think you have a hard time now with meeting your budget? Just see what happens if you don't form a resolution, and that's my request.
Mr. Zarzano.
Please come up with a resolution.
Mrs. Zarzano, you're out of order. Thank you.
Here we are, people.
Okay, this is citizen input. Any county-related subject. Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
Take more than 1 or 2.
Good afternoon, Board. I spoke this morning about the Jobean MSBU, and just as a point of clarification on my point, that the ERUs, the ERCs are $11,500, but you can combine them through something called unity of a title. I was aware of that. I'm aware of that. I was not unaware of it. But the thing is, why are you making people do that when most people that have 2 lots with one house on it have most likely already combined it for homestead purposes, so it's just one parcel. So you're making extra work here, making people file this unity of title thing, and it's one of these things that you have to actively do. You have to jump through this hoop to do it, $35 or whatever. And I read the letter you're going to send out, and it says you'd better consult an attorney before you sign this. Is it that bad or that complicated? I'm not sure why you would have to do that. I know that I have more than one lot in my parcel. I have one, well, I have a guest house, but I have one residence. And so I'm only paying for that one parcel. It's all together. One house, one unit. It would have been simple to do that. And if somebody has to have another special exception, you could do that instead of lumping everybody together like that. The other thing was about the church this morning, the tax on the church. You had a month to do this. This came up last month. There was a hearing in June, and I was here for that one, and there were many people here for that one. And now the numbers have dwindled down. This morning there weren't many. I don't know how many will show up in September to show their support for it. But I don't know if you're trying to wear us down or what's taking so long. You had a month to look into it. Now you need another meeting in September, all the time in between, to look at it again. And I'll remind you, like the other people did, this is not your money. I don't know why you think it's your money. This is money coming from people who have already paid their taxes for these things in other areas. And the fact is that This is what some people would call almost double taxation. And I would implore you to consider to find a way to fund whatever else you're going to do, need to do, or to find ways to eliminate expenditures. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, folks. Been a while. Advocates aren't born in Charlotte County. We're made in Charlotte County. Generally, when you get backed into a corner, you become an advocate. My name is Donald Daubenmeyer. I live at 4820 Duncan Road. Because of continued harassment by the several departments and even that officer there, you've made a new advocate. Have a nice day.